Hi, I'm Lenora, and this is my first video, and I'm going to be talking about fibromyalgia. I have not gotten enough sleep, so I'm going to meander a bit and forget things, so here's my little helper to remember the questions. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's start with the beginning. What is fibromyalgia? It's a widespread chronic pain disorder and causes issues with muscles, nerves, joints, though everyone experiences it differently, several comorbid conditions, and a mishmash of fun symptoms. What parts of the body does fibromyalgia affect? It can pretty much affect any part of the body. For me, it is heavily focused in my neck and back as this electrifying, excruciating nerve pain. But I have a whole lot of other symptoms, a lot of muscle spasms, and so forth. How and when did I get it? Well, I was 18. I just moved out to go to college, and I was hospitalized 3 times. Got very, very sick with what was diagnosed as ulcerative colitis, was put on steroids that were supposed to be short term for a very long term. And I was so sick and weak that I couldn't take care of my son, and my mom had to take him away for a couple months, and that was a real shock to me, and thinking I was going to die was also a big shock to me. So I developed anxiety, and somewhere around there, with all the nutritional deficits, the trauma, that's when the nerve pain started, and the symptoms just kept rolling downhill from there and accumulating up. So that's the short version of it. How do you manage pain and what meds work for you? Well, I basically manage pain with my meds, and that's basically gabapentin, Klonopin, and baclofen, which is a muscle relaxer, and it doesn't do a great job to manage my pain. So, what non-prescription treatments work for you? Well, I've got my TENS unit, a heating pad. Well, I borrow one. Salonpa patches. Uh, if I have access to it, Tiger Balm sometimes helps. And that can help, especially when you combine the 3 and then add in distraction or naps if you can get them. And that's the best I can do basically for worst pain ever days. So, what do you do when that's not enough? Suffer. That's what I do. I mean, I contemplate going to the ER and then I just don't. And contemplate other things and just don't. So, let's move on from there. What is allodynia? How do you experience it? And how do you manage or ease it? Well, there are 4 types of allodynia, and the type that's usually used to diagnose fibromyalgia, the pressure kind, I don't have that. So when they did the test, I didn't have it. But I do have the light brushing touch type, which means that gentle touch, like what they'll do when trying to find a vein, is excruciating. Tickling, excruciating. Tingling feelings, you get the point. And that was really, really hard on me when my son was very young and he had those tiny little fingers and those would just barely touch me. And it was like telling him, sorry, you can't cuddle with me, and him not understanding that. That was heartbreaking. So, how do I manage allodynia? Well, I haven't figured out a way to do that. Usually, often when my fibromyalgia nerve pain is under control, my allodynia will be too, but there's no guarantee there. So, regardless of what type of allodynia you have, if you've got any recommendations, please put those in the comments because I'd love to hear what you do. Do I need assistive devices? Yes, not all of us do, but the only ones I have right now are my cane and my wheelchair. And my wheelchair, it has duct taped rope for my feet. I really need a new one. And the new one that my doctor ordered me didn't work. So I'm still looking to get a new one. Wish me luck. Like many wheelchair users, I can still stand and walk, but that doesn't mean I don't need my wheelchair. The same is true of any assistive device, whether it's because you have a good pain and overall symptom days and bad days and good days, or because you can do things for a limited time unassisted, it doesn't mean you don't need it or are faking. Okay, so how does it affect sleep and how do you deal with that? Well, I have had just about every sleep problem under the sun. Insomnia to the point where it got super unhealthy and kind of dangerous this summer. Oversleeping like 12 to 14 hours and not even including naps that happen during the day. Waking up in the middle of the night with excruciating pain. Not being able to sleep despite multiple sedating medications. And I have sleep apnea. How do I manage it? Well, I I see a sleep specialist. It doesn't do much. And I hope that taking a sedative will work. But I do want to note that I have noticed only recently in all the time that I've had fibromyalgia that what matters most is not how many hours I sleep, when I wake up, or I don't know, other stuff. What it matters is when I go to bed. And I don't just mean consistency of time of going to bed. I mean, like, even if I went to bed at midnight every night, woke up at 8:30 every morning, did that every single day, I'd still be in pain. Whereas if I went to bed at 9 every night, it'd be a little better. Not cured, but better. But it's not that easy. So, okay, about flare-ups and fluctuations of fibromyalgia. Again, everyone experiences it differently. Some people seem to have a level of predictability and no triggers for flare-ups and general management to keep symptoms low. Some people don't get worse over time, and I'm neither of those. I've gotten much worse over time. I can't really seem to predict things, but I do have fluctuations. Like, I will get symptoms that just come and go, and some of those will come back later, and some of them won't. So it's sort of a strange thing that seems to be a fibromyalgia only thing. I don't know if you have another condition and that sort of thing happens, but it's something I only talk about with other people who have fibromyalgia because it's just so weird. I had a symptom where it felt like I had been punched repeatedly in the shoulder or hit with a brick, and that was excruciating and made it impossible to drive. And eventually that went away and it came back sometime later, and I haven't had it since. So, yeah, I don't mention that to doctors or really anyone. Okay, so how does it affect your activities of daily living and quality of life? Well, it's kind of complicated because I don't just have fibromyalgia, I have like 10 physical conditions and 6 psychiatric conditions. I have a lot of stuff and they all interact. I used to describe it like a spider web. I don't know why, it just was the image that came to mind for me. Um, so it has come to affect everything all the time. And sometimes it feels like I don't have much of a life at all. I can't really cook or clean or do any of the things that I used to love to do. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about for now. I mean, that's kind of a long subject, really, all on its own. So, I'm going to finish with this one last question, and that is, what is your current pain level and thoughts? Well, my pain for today and the last few days has been excruciating, not really manageable, even though I've bought several over the counter things out of desperation, and has been leading to waking up throughout the night, even though I'm going to bed super late. Um, so yeah, it's been really, really, really awful. So my thoughts are, please stop. And nice to meet you. Goodbye.